Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you all to International Affairs. I am Shamsullah Mpanthu, your host for the program today. This program is being broadcasted from SATV's Gulshan studio. Before I begin our discussion today, we will be looking at the latest updates regarding the Middle East situation, as well as all the faults of Donald Trump that he is leading as the U.S. president all the way across in continental America. Before I begin the discussion, let me introduce you all my panel. In the studio, I have retired Colonel Mohammed Abdul Haq, who is known also as a very important security analyst for Bangladesh, as well as the chairman of Retired Armed Forces Welfare Association, also known as RAW. I welcome you onto the program, sir. Alongside, we will have our geopolitical correspondent Norman Floyd Barnes joining us all the way from Washington, District of Columbia. I want to begin the talk today with Norman. There is an important issue I want to raise. Yesterday, we were discussing how the Pope Leo XIV had exchanged comments from Donald Trump as well. In the last 24 hours, we have seen Donald Trump coming to his Truth Social handle, posting an AI-generated photo of himself being depicted as Jesus Christ. That has huge implications in the Christian community in America and around the world. Later, Donald Trump came in front of the White House to say that he was being depicted as a doctor, and the fake news media has tried to use this claim against him. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes. What are the other updates that you have for us today, Norman?
Yes, as you mentioned, the public, the general public is not pleased with that depiction of President Trump, uh, either the doctor or Jesus Christ. The image is not being well received by the public. On the other side, the United States blockade has started. The blockade on the blockade of the Iranian of Iran has started, and we still are not understanding exactly how this is going to work. There's conversations about the U.S. will block all ships, but the military is stating that they only block military ships. So we're still a little confused about exactly how this thing is going to work. And on the other side, Iran is stating that any issues blocking of ports constitute a violation of the ceasefire. So we're going back to the ceasefire situation. Apparently, there's small conversation about a continuation of the talks with Pakistan about a ceasefire or a conclusion of this war, or at least an understanding. So there's still talks about continuing that. Uh, that is open. So the positive thing out of that is that the Pakistani and the arrangement created a dialogue, a narrative where they can communicate both ways. So, anytime you can talk, it's a lot better than shooting missiles and drones at each other. So hopefully communication will continue and the hostilities will decrease, and we'll come to some type of determination how this Strait of Hormuz trade route is going to prevail. That is what we are looking at right now, is basically how we're navigating this blockade and the Strait of Hormuz. That is the main focus of our attention here in the United States.
Very important updates coming from Norman Floyd Barnes there in Washington, D.C. Coming back to the studio, I want to ask Colonel Abdul Haq. As you were hearing, Norman, there is some issues that I want to ask. Donald Trump, the U.S. President, he seems to be in a course that does not support his position as the leader of the United States of America. I say this because it is not only a naval exercise that he's ordered the U.S. Navy to figure out. It is a blockade in front of another blockade. And one can understand that the talks in Islamabad as of last weekend, it coming to no kind of deal, is an indicator that this war may be prolonged. I want to understand how you're seeing this as 50 days almost have gone by since the beginning of this war. And let me remind you, it started with the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Thank you very much. First of all, I like to express my deep gratitude to you for calling me here. And first of all, today, you know, the first day of Boishak, that means 1433 Bengali year started today. Thanks to everyone on this occasion. See, the question you have asked or the raise, why this Trump and America with his allies, Israel, why they have targeted Iran? What is the reason behind it? Are they believing that only the America, US is the only country which is rule this whole world? Is it their only attitude? If I wish as a president, I bring some president from some country, prime minister from some country, and take him in my country and start doing justice against the nation? Are they that kind of attitude they are having at this moment? You see, Venezuela's president was taken away.
Right, that's how the year had started.
Right. And see other countries in the world who are suffered by the America. And the Israel, the unauthorized country in the world, which does not have any basic principle of a country. They are snatching the lands of other Muslim countries like Lebanon and other allies or neighboring country. And America is directly supporting them, putting their all the latest weaponries to this country, Israel, to kill the people, mass killing, genocide, which has been done since long in Gaza. In the history of world, can you imagine, is there any second incident that for a long time a nation is mercilessly killed every day, every minute, every second? This thing is going and supported by this America. And the irony is that since long, all the Western countries used to support Donald Trump and America. But after attacking Iran, you see, it does not have any friend other than Israel. Even their closest allies, like UK, France, Russia, China, all four other major powers in the world are not supporting this genocide and this unlawful attitude of America.
Right.
How you are killing the senior most person of the country, senior most leader of the country without any notice? Who has given you this right? That is, might is right. Is it the way to rule the country, rule the world? And that's why he's known as mad president. Madness of Trump is ruining his own country as well as ruining the world environment and suffering of billions of people of the world because of this war, because of this madness. And because about his madness, there are many reasons. The Zionists, the Christian Zionists, IPAC, they have made president. Otherwise, he does not have any quality or qualification to become president of United States of America.
Right.
With who is quality? Because last time you have seen when he was president, he has damaged the country, American nation like an America, the way we have seen that. And this time, this Trump, I don't think that this is the Trump's activities, it is the activities of Benjamin Netanyahu. He is the terrorist, number one terrorist in the world, who does not have any mercy to the mankind. He does not have any human quality. Otherwise, he would not continue the attack or genocide in Lebanon without any reason. He is killing. In one way, they are telling that we are discussing about the ceasefire with Iran, and at the same time, they are killing and occupying the country mercilessly of Lebanon. What is the fault of Lebanon? Why he will attack another nation, independent nation? Is it the way to deal in this 21st century of the world? We have developed so many things in the world, humankind, human quality. Everybody has got right, equal right. Where is that? Where it has gone? So, I think the whole world should take a decision together against this country, America. Thus, enough is enough. You cannot do this. Whole world should be united to do something for the greater facility of the mankind, I tell you. Why? You see, the Iran, they had been discussing with Iran in somewhere, peace discussion or
In
the
Islamabad,
negotiation
yes.
discussion. You and me, we are discussing together. And suddenly, I have asked my people to kill your family members.
That is,
Is
how
it
it has.
justified? There is
of course.
no rule of law. There is no rule of law in the world. And whatever America will say, that is the rule. And last but not the least, you see, the negotiation talks between these two countries. Definitely, before starting the negotiation, America has given some points on which they are going to discuss. Similarly, Iran also has given some points to them. Exchange of points were given or done. And knowing fully well, Trump was giving pressure to Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shahbaz Sharif,
Right.
that please arrange this negotiation against this negotiation. That we know. But what has happened, which has forced them to just vandalize that discussing after 21 hours together, morning to night? What has prompted them to spoil this discussion? I think, my personal assumption, there are third party who is working behind it. The interest of third party, that is IPAC, the Zionists, they do not want the ceasefire. They want to destroy the Muslims around their country so that they can occupy further land, more land for their survival. And here, I like to say one thing. In the history of America, the president so long till today, Trump, no president was against the Israeli policies, Jewish policies. Only one president was against it, that is John F. Kennedy.
And he was assassinated.
And he was assassinated mercilessly because he did not want that Israel should have atomic power. He was vehemently against it. And just they have taken the revenge by killing him. Not only him, the next president, would-be president, his younger brother, John F. Kennedy's younger brother, was Attorney General at that time. After that, he was going to contest in the election, governor election. And he was also mercilessly killed. And that is the way Israel has taken control of American administration, I say. Before that, I used to say that Israel is not a country. Israel is controlled by America. Now I say, I change my position, that Israel has a country named America, and America is run by Israelis. That is my opinion. I say in the daylight that whole world is seeing that. I think there must be an end of it, and that end will be done by Iran. How Donald Trump can say that he is going to destroy a generation or civilization? What is the age of America?
Roughly 250 years.
250 years. And the Iranian nation, the heritage of 6,000 years. 6,000 years plus. And Iran historically is a very civilized nation. And how America has been grown up, going from different countries, all ill people got together and they killed the original people of America, occupied
natives.
that country, and they are ruling, they want to rule the whole country and whole world. And they are going to destroy the world by the atomic power. And if Trump remains in the power, and like him, all other presidents become the servant of Israel, I don't think any good thing will be happening in future. And Iran will take his own way, own course, killing a nation or destroying a nation is not that easy, my dear. You cannot destroy a nation. Just bombing by the atomic power will not suffice. Again, a nation, very strong nation, will again arise. You see, before few months, before attacking Iran, there were some people, some corner who used to who used to be opposition of peasant regime, Ayatollah Khamenei, like him. They used to oppose all the activities of this peasant regime. Once Trump declared that they want to kill the regime, they want to change the regime, then whole nation has become united. And millions of people are writing their name to fight against this aggression of Israel and America. How can you destroy them? And see, you have started by destroying a school with the student of 200 plus. What is your humanity? You tell
Non-existent.
me. More than 200 students, and many of their parents were there. You have totally damaged that. Now the world is not seeing that as anti-human activities. Can it happen? Even I hate all those countries. Seeing all these atrocities, none of the country spoke against that inhuman activities of America and Israel. That is the hard fact of the world. We want our own interest. Even our country, my country, Bangladesh, did not utter a single word against their inhuman activities. Why? Would you like to be dependent on other countries?
For how long should we be
how
that?
long?
For how long?
If you ask me, I can continue day after day the inhuman activities of Israel and America. Another point I like to raise.
Please.
Since the inception of America, they have fought many wars in the world. In none of the wars they could own. Can you show me example? Anywhere they could own the...
No, they had to leave Afghanistan as well as Vietnam historically as well.
Yes.
Even in Iraq, to a certain degree, even after decimating the entire nation of Iraq, Iraq's forces are now standing by. But very important issues that you have raised, Colonel Abdul Haq. It's important to understand the consciousness of the people in America and who they have actually voted into power of the GOP, the Grand Old Party, or better known as the Republican Party. Some of these important statements that you brought in, I want to discuss more with Norman Floyd joining from Washington, D.C. I'm sure you were hearing us in the studio trying to understand and make use of this new global order. I want to just ask, normalizing unwarranted activities. I picked it out from Colonel Abdul Haq. That includes picking up the leader of Venezuela at the beginning of this year, striking other nations that may or may not harbor terrorists is just a label, and not only so, recently a self-imposed or a war that has been imposed on Iran for the last 50 or so days, affecting communities worldwide. I want to know how, Norman, how you're seeing this. Of course, today in Washington, Marco Rubio shall be sitting with direct peace talks between Israel and Lebanon. Once again, people are not hopeful because of what they see on the field, because of the ground realities that are hitting them. How far dialogue will play into this situation? Norman, how do you see this?
Thank you again. The situation in the United States with our foreign policy, I'll say foreign policy, is the current administration is attempting to dominate a segment of the economy dealing with the dollar, the trade of the dollar, who has the dollar, who spends the dollar, who benefits from the dollar, and how this all permeates back to the control by the United States. Unfortunately, the world is not digesting that very well, meaning the conflicts. We talk about Venezuela. Now the latest one is stated from the administration is that our next objective is Cuba. As you know, Cuba is being blockaded right now. The situation is very uh, distressful, critical, approaching genocidal. They do not have enough food, water, energy, the basic needs to survive, uh, largely due to the blockades. The United States is currently attempting to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, Oman, that whole region, in an attempt to bring down the current regime in Iran. Again, this is an economic thing. This is a situation where they want the country to implode from the inside out. However, again, the victims are always in any of these situations to all of these plans is the people, the human factor. People are suffering, even here in the United States, regarding providing food and water and putting food on the table for the family, and also going about how to develop some form of quality of life. Right now, everything is being re-evaluated, is being readjusted, and changes are made. Hopefully, for the future, be better. But right now, the people are suffering. People are dying. People are starving. People are going to uh, basically hell right now as our leaders try to figure out how the new world order is going to be. Unfortunately, for the governments, that they may not understand that people have long memories. They do not forget loved ones lost, situations taken advantage of, quality of life issues. So when they go to the polls and they go to the voting, as we saw in Hungary, change is coming. So
Right.
we saw a prelude of what's happening in Hungary is going to be the same thing that happens in the United States. Matter of fact, it's going to be the same thing that happened on a global field. These tyrants and dictators and these rulers who think they can control the majority by inflicting threats, harm, discomfort to people is a thing of the past. So I predict that there's going to be a major reshift in how the New World Order is going to exist. We see now leaders, Western leaders are now starting to talk to the other side, meaning China. We got the people from the UAE are talking about peace issues. We got people from Saudi Arabia talking to Asia. We got
Right.
European talking to China and whatever. So things are shifting. The bully, powerful, hammer, fist, threatening military techniques are a thing of the past. They will beat themselves into submission, where basically your victories will be your defeat, meaning you will win the battle, but you'll lose the war. And the war is not a military one. It's a war of basically how the people want to live. And nothing I've seen in this year has gave me an indication is that our current leaders, both sides, anywhere, is looking for anything in regards to the betterment of the people. So we have to take a look at this situation. Who benefits from this? And that is the point that we have to focus on. Who benefits from this turmoil, this action? It's a small few, and it's a financial one. It has nothing to do with borders, boundaries, people, nuclear weapons. It's finance. Who owns the money? Who controls the money? And how can we control how people live and what they can do under a certain regime? So basically, that's my input today on this situation. But right now, things are changing, and the change is not to the betterment of the current few who holds power.
Of course, very important updates from Norman Floyd Barnes there in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the production team, it's time to take a very short commercial break. Do stay with us. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panthu.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panthu.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panthu.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on International Affairs. Today I'm joined in the studio with Colonel Abdul Haq as well as Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington, D.C. I want to give the topic of discussion. It's important to understand the ramifications of this war, how it has imposed new normals around the world. Let me give our viewers the detail. More than 80 energy facilities in the Middle East have been damaged since February 28, the start of the Iran war, with over one-third of them classified as severely or very severely hit, according to the head of the International Energy Agency yesterday. Of course, during an Atlantic Council event in D.C., Fatih Birol said the scale of the destruction to oil fields, refineries, terminals and other infrastructure means recovery may take many decades before it comes back to normal. So that is the situation. Not only so, across the entire global agricultural markets, we see a lack of fertilizer due to this war, due to the issues of this war. It may cause a famine if prolonged throughout the rest of the year. Not only so, I want to also add on a detail about the Islamabad talks from last weekend. Many agencies around the world are now commenting What were the points of order between the negotiation? One of them, of course, include not enriching uranium for Iran. Of course, the demand came from the U.S. side that Iran shall not enrich uranium for the next 20 or so years. Iran declined by saying we may think about a 5-year tenure. However, that would be against our own very own policies. And that is how the stalemate had occurred between the two sides. Of course, Pakistan is coming out now to say that it will host as many rounds of talk required for these two sides to calm down and coming back to dialogue and direct level talks. Of course, I want to ask Norman Floyd Burns, it has implications not only in military standpoint or the standpoint regarding the Strait of Hormuz. As I was reading out, energy facilities have been damaged severely, and because of so, the world will face the reaction in the coming months and days. How do you see this, Norman?
Yes, thank you. This war conflict has inflicted pain beyond the borders of the Middle East. People are feeling the impact of this thousands of miles away, as in terms of getting necessary quality of life goods has been difficult. Some cases, people will have to look for alternatives. Unfortunately, the quality of life around the world is going to have to change, going to have to improve. There has to be a new infrastructure put in place to be successful for the world. We have to understand that these issues that we are dealing with right now, we call conflicts and wars, didn't just pop up overnight. They've been brewing for the last 20 to 30 or 40 years. All these issues was known, issues, circumstances has to be addressed. We had this situation with the Germans after World War I. You saw the result of that.
Right.
That did not fail. So if we still continue to do these things to people on Earth, things will not work well. There will be conflicts, wars, and whatever situations that goes on because we are not addressing the needs and basically how things work. The dependency of fossil fuel right now we're dealing with is causing the conflict. We have taken the lazy way out. We have the knowledge, we have the understanding of doing alternative forms of energy, but it was cheaper, convenient, and so we made deals with what we call deals with the devil.
Right.
These deals are now coming home, as what we used to say. Malcolm X said, "Now the chickens are coming home to roost," and basically, it's not a nice sight. We are now looking at a situation with people, groups that felt that they've been disenfranchised are now acting up, acting out, and they are now doing what they can do. Iran nuclear weapon, they're talking about the nuclear weapon ability to develop a new weapon. They already have one. Basically, the control of the strait. 20% of everything comes from that area. Then we have right across the area, the Red Sea, the Houthis. Everybody has these issues. So we're going to see a flare up there. So it's going to be a chokehold, stranglehold, and now we have a complete suffocation of trade and commerce around the world. This is something that is going to have a tremendous effect, more so than dropping a bomb. Basically, you're starving people, causing people not to have things, causing people to act out. So you have a
Right.
implosion instead of explosion. The implosion will be more deadly, more suffering than anything that we can manufacture, develop in a laboratory. People have to have their basic needs taken care of. They have to be understanding that they need to participate in this thing called life. If they don't, they will act out and they will destroy, they will eat themselves. They will destroy themselves while taking the beneficial parties down with that. It has never failed. If you deny me my rights, you will be denied the benefits these what you call a convenience. You will be denied that. So this story is keep playing on and on and on and on and on. So every conflict we have was based on something not addressed, overlooked, or forgotten. So that is where we are right now. We need to take a minute to pause and look and see exactly what has happened in the past. What can we do to address that? And then plan for the future and communicate. We need to talk about it. When you don't communicate, we have these military actions, these political issues, assassination, other things change. So the shift you should be looking at. I'm going to reflect about what happened in Hungary. That is going to happen globally.
Of course.
The current leaderships in this world is limited time. They have limited time on doing things. This group who want to control, a small group who want to control the big party, they do not have the leverage. They will not have the leverage. They will even not have the opportunity because there's more people than there's leaders. And the people are fed up and they tired how this whole global thing is manifesting because right now they can't do what they need to do locally, regionally, in the neighborhood, in their own household because of a few people who wants to control everything and dictate how people live their life on terms they think you should have, while they benefit people no longer can also enjoy their benefits. So because of technology, people are now able to see that more quickly than before. And they say, well, this doesn't work for us. We don't like it. We're going to change. We're going to vote you out. We're going to stomp you out. We're going to have protests. We're going to shut this thing down. We're going to shut it down. And you're going to see a lot more of these governments have to submit to exactly the will of the people.
The will of the people.
That is where we're going. Change is coming, and we have to understand that we have to participate in a manner that makes sense. Leaders coming in, future leaders coming in now, has to take that understanding that it's not about me, it's about we. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Norman. Very important and rough breakdown of how worlds in the coming days will be processed, how the will of the people must be reflected by the governments. Coming back into the studio with Colonel Abdul Haq, you were hearing Norman Floyd's statement. I want to give you a contrast here. Any nation that has an impending issue, an impending problem, whether it be a fuel crisis, whether it be a food crisis, an energy crisis, it should be reflected in the utmost seat of that nation. Why should only the people be suffering? The suffering should be also extended to the leader of the nation. It could be a president, it could be an army general, it could also be a prime minister. With that also being said, the rule of law, it's being spoiled from across the globe. We were touching on how Nicolas Maduro was captured. Not only so, today it is Iran. And as Norman was saying, tomorrow it may be Cuba, a nation that may face acute energy crisis. As we've seen in the international community as well as international media, Cuba is facing, often going through a blackout. So when the sun goes down, there is no energy left, or there is no ability of people to carry out their normal tasks. Given that we are in the 4th month of this year, it looks very drastic down the line for the remainder of the year. How do you explain the contested areas across the globe?
Thank you very much. You see, so long I had been hearing from America, so knowledgeable and sensible individual. I extend my regards to him. My thanks and gratefulness to him. You see the suffering about the sufferings of mankind, not only Cuba. You see, in the whole world, I said previously, that whole world is suffering. Why? The only reason is to strengthening a country, unauthorized country, which was created by the Western power, unlawfully, illogically, the Israel. What is the aim of Israel? If you can remember, before 1 month, the ambassador of America in Israel, what was his opinion? What did he say? He said that Israel must have the area, a bigger area, including Saudi Arabia and Arabian Peninsula together. That will be the future Israel. Who has said? No less than an ambassador of America in Israel, who is most loyal and a man of insight power. If we can explain that, by any means, to sustain that huge nation, the whole Muslim world is targeted now. They have not kept it secret. Day before 2 days before, somebody, I can't remember the name, that the Muslims will be killed. They have uttered this word, that the Muslims will be killed. What is the meaning of it?
No, they've passed a very important law inside the Israeli Knesset. Itamar Ben-Gvir has celebrated as minute that act was passed on, in which it says that Palestinian prisoners shall face the death sentence
without any justice. No mercy, no justice, death sentence. The nation, for their own survival, because in their religious book, though it is fake, we consider, because Almighty Allah cannot give such rule to a nation that you kill other nations altogether. It is a fake book they have prepared, and ensuring a legal way that we are, as per our rule of law or rule of our holy book, we are killing all Muslims, and this is justified. All Muslims can be killed as per our religious book. That is what they say. You see, I like to give thanks to generals of America. Out of the way, I like to say this thing. The Chief of Army Staff of America, he said that we cannot win this war.
And Pete Hegseth had an entire team of generals fired.
An entire team with 12 other generals were removed.
Right.
So they do not have mercy to their own people. They do not like to listen any good words or any good advice, anything. Because as per our religion or their religion, Judaism, then Christianity, and then Muslims, these are three divine books. These are nation of divine books. We all believe there is a shaitan, evil, devil.
In all religions, it's common.
We accept that. And now we find that devil is exactly the Trump regime and Israel. They are working as devil in the world, and they are destroying the mankind. The suffering is, say, Cuba. I have seen that day. They cannot cultivate their food grain because of the absence of fertilizer. They cannot produce fertilizer because of their power, electric power or something like the energy. Not only that, the children are dying without any good food or medicine or vitamin. Similarly, more other countries are suffering like them, that Cuba.
Right.
I talk about Gaza, I talk about Iraq, the merciless killing of American. The nation totally was destroyed in Iraq. What was the reason? The
weapons of mass destruction.
See, equally.
Also overthrowing Saddam Hussein.
This is not far back.
2001 to 3 at that time.
This is not far back. Another story, that Afghanistan. They have not taken the lesson out of it. They tried to damage or destroy this nation, fighting with their all latest weaponaries. Leaving all those in Afghanistan, they had to flee away. Can you remember that? How many years back? Before 3 or 4 years or something like that.
Very recently.
Recently. They have not taken lesson out of it. They have not taken lesson in Vietnam as well. How in the daylight they had to surrender to the people who did not have any arms. Considering all this situation, this nation, American nation, is day by day growing as a very forbidden nation to kill the humanity. That is a very hard fact in the world. I do not know how this world power is going to deal with it. And the gentleman or the guest who spoke about dollar. I agree with him that dollar is the only weapon at this moment. Dollar is the weapon in their hand. They are using dollar, printing and circulating and getting hold of everything in the world. And we are afraid of losing our dollar and economy, destroying economy by America. That is the hard fact. I don't know how Almighty Allah is going to deal with all this. Definitely has got some plan, good plan for the mankind, because all human beings are equal to Him. I pray to God Almighty Allah. You are seeing all these atrocities, genocide, inhuman activities, children, women, old people suffering like anything. They do not have food, they do not have any shelter. Still, think about Lebanon, the way they are destroying, they are bombing the whole nation.
They're using phosphorus bombs without any kind of warning as well.
And this America is continuously supplying their weaponry to them to kill this nation. I cannot conceive, you see, as human being, people loving man, I cannot just tolerate. Sometimes I become very weak once I see the suffering of the children. In their mother cannot feed their children. They cannot feed their breast because they do not have food for months together.
Right.
And the world is very calm and quiet, seeing all this. Even the humanitarian aids are stopped to go there. Water is stopped for the nation. Can it happen, my dear?
The basic needs have been stopped.
Basic needs of humanity. Can they do that? They cannot. How it will be overcome? I wonder. That definitely there will be help from divine. Divine blessing will come very soon. That is not far away. And I thank the Iranian nation with their limitation, the way they have protected their own nation as well as they have taken care of other nation who is helping these atrocities. You see, all Arabian countries have got their American base in their country to protect them.
And then it has no use.
No use.
Because those bases have been destroyed by Iran.
Of no use. Why not to have friendship with Iran? What is the problem? Instead of friendship with America, if we have friendship with your neighboring countries, that will be far better. You consider that America is formidable power. Israel is formidable power. And this is the first time Israel also very hardly have faced the
missile barrages as well.
Barrage of Iran. That is, we cannot ignore that thing also. They did not understand. They did not even conceive that Iran can do this thing. Iran can take the measure against their activities in their own country. Why is not they have attacked? Everywhere they have attacked. In Israel, Israel is also not safe. So it is best time to understand, to realize the actual truth by America as well as Israel. To understand the truth, understand the fact, understand the practical life, then they can take good decision. And this mad president will never be able to understand the hard fact of this life. So sooner the best, the American nation can change their president and bring a very good patriotic president and humanitarian president, then this America will also survive. Thus, American nation cannot survive with these illogical, unlawful activities going toward the world. That is my final opinion.
Of course. I would like to thank retired Colonel Mohammad Abdul Haq for your insights and commentary regarding the worldwide issues and how you see the rest of the year going on. I thank you for also joining on International Affairs. It would be the first time I have hosted you on this program.
Thank you very much.
Also thanking Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington, District of Columbia, for providing the American views inside these worldly affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I want to wish everyone here in Bangladesh and Bengalis across the entire world Happy New Year. We step into 1433 of the Bengali calendar. We want to also remember that the old should be wiped out from our hearts. We should not hold any grudges, and may this be the day that we start a new Bengali year. With that being said, I am Shamsul Alam Pantho signing out on International Affairs.